What improved your quality of life so much, you wish you did it sooner? Flossing. I never saw the dentist as a kid, and no one really pushed me to or cared about my dental health. Letting my pride and ego take hits. I used to have been such a me person in my early life. When I allowed myself to be taken down a peg or two, I started having new perspectives on life and people around me. Edit. I don't have words. Thanks so much. Throwing out all my socks and buying a single type. No more looking for pairs. 43yo. Started exercising regularly again. 4x a week. Forget the physical benefits for a minute. The mental benefits outweigh the gains all day. Quitting smoking. I couldn't imagine life without it back then. But man, is life better without a constant need like that. Not to mention all the health benefits. Learning to be okay with saying no and starting off all relationships, personal and professional, with healthy boundaries. You don't ever need an excuse to say no to if you don't want to do something. Don't feel like going out with friends that night? No thank you. Don't want to work an extra shift at your place of employment if it's not mandatory? No thanks boss. Boundaries are amazing, and when set from the beginning, they are much easier to maintain for your own mental well-being. Edit. Well, this has become my highest upvoted comment. Thanks to everyone who responded with stories related to boundary setting. And stay strong if you still struggle with this. Sleeping when I'm sleepy. Deleting all the people from high school I don't see anymore from social media. Cutting out alcohol. I don't criticize anyone who drinks, but I was a problem drinker. Stopping that cycle improved everything about my life. Drinking more water. Edit. Thank you everyone for the awards and upvotes. Hiking in the mountains. Nothing makes me feel more at peace and excited at the same time. Working from home in IT. Duck. This environment and industry fit me like a glove. Eating healthy. It's amazing after you realize how much you feel like it after you just took down a double cheeseburger, extra large fries, and a large Coke. But at the time, you don't realize it and just think you're tired. Good eating habits and exercising changed my life. Automating simple yet time-consuming tasks, like Excel macros. You wouldn't realize how much time you save beforehand, but it sure does save heaps. Buying a good knife for cooking. Permanently placed my phone on Do Not Disturb, allow calls from contacts. This one change saved me from constant disruptive and wanted calls. Life is good on no ring lane. Losing 200 pounds. Edit. Lol. You guys had fun with this. To answer everyone's question, I meant weight. Former 397 pound fat chick here. Never even seen a British pound. Lost the 200 on my own through diet and exercise. Then about 24 pounds of excess skin had to be removed surgically. Independent blankets for my wife and I in bed. Incredible how much better you sleep when there's no waking up with blankets pulled half off or using one that's too heavy or too light. I'd highly recommend for anyone that sleeps with a significant other. Edit. Holy cow. This blew up. Thanks for the awards. Seeing a therapist. My dad died when I was 16 and I never saw or really talked to anyone about it till I was in my 30s. So many years wasted being angry and sad. I was very shy and self-conscious, but at some point I started just living how I wanted. I already wasn't popular, so what was I risking? Girls still wouldn't be interested. I guess I just started doing things I'd been afraid to do before, including being more outgoing. I know this sounds like generic advice, but it really worked for me. Every time your brain says no, that wouldn't work out, or no, what would people think, or any other version of no, don't try. It's a perfect opportunity to do something you feel drawn to. Dye your hair pink. Try painting even though you know you'll suck at it. Fart and then say it was me. Okay, maybe not the last one. Cutting out toxic friends. After years of knowing someone, it can be hard to see that they are no longer the person they were when the relationship started. My childhood best friend grew into a manipulative, selfish prick. For years I hung out with him almost every day after work and always felt miserable afterwards. Everyone around me questioned why I still spent time with him. I always made excuses that seem ridiculous in hindsight. I should have cut ties 10 years ago. Learning to get over myself. Nobody cares what I do. Nobody is looking at me. And why should I care if they are? Nobody outside my circle has enough context to make accurate judgments about how I live. So why am I trying so hard to justify my decisions? As soon as I adopted that mindset, being alive got significantly less itty. I do my best to be a decent person and to take care of myself. And the only opinions I care about are mine, my partner's, and my therapist's. Buying a wardrobe of good quality, properly fitting clothing that I actually like. Agonizing over what to wear every morning because this doesn't fit properly. This one has a stain. I just wore that yesterday. I don't like how this sits on my body, would start my day off very badly. Edit. Thank you so much for the awards. Really appreciate it. Getting your teeth fixed. Edit. Thanks for the awards, kind strangers. Accepting at 28 that I was a very emotional guy and letting myself cry whenever I needed to. I swear I cried constantly for about a year straight, as if catching up on all the feelings I repressed my whole life. However, it tapered off about a year ago and it kinda sucks. It's as if I literally grew thicker skin through truly allowing myself to feel the painful things I felt, and it's become increasingly difficult to cry like I used to. It felt really good to just let everything out. I stopped caring. Not everyone is gonna like you. All you need to do is like yourself. Taking vitamin D supplements and getting a therapy lamp for the winter. Holy does it make a difference. I realized after my first year of university that the reason I didn't do well in the winter semester was because I was feeling depressed and exhausted due to lack of sunlight. I live in Canada, so the days are way shorter in winter. So when you leave before the sun rises, get home after it sets and wear a coat all day so your skin is exposed to no sunlight, you miss a lot of vitamin D. So I take vitamin D supplements each morning to make up for what I'm missing. And I use a therapy lamp to simulate sunlight in the morning. You feel way more energized and awake during the day. I would highly recommend it to anyone who feels exhausted in winter. P.S. If you're interested in a therapy lamp, look up SAD lamp or seasonal affective disorder lamp. Edit. Wow. Thanks for the award. Edit 2. Awards. You young kids will think this crazy, but I am glad to have gotten older. All those things that worried me when I was in my 20s just don't matter anymore. I'm 67 now and much happier. Moving out of my parents' house. It's actually amazing how much more energy and satiation I get from homemade unsweetened oatmeal versus the stuff from the packet. Bought a cart that carries my groceries from the car to my apartment. No more trying to carry 5 bags in each hand. Roomba. OMG, not having to sweep dog cat hair daily is such a blessing. Edit. Lots of replies. It's 4:30 AM. I'm on my phone instead of PC. Thanks for the awards. To answer the more obvious questions, it's an iRobot Roomba 694. It has not sucked up dog poop, but it cleaned up cat vomit, only leaving a little on the floor, like a mop or spray and rag would need to be used anyway. The dirt tray has a microfilter and a collection area. You push one button and it comes out and you dump it in the trash. It does get under my dining room table because it just barely fits through the chair legs. It does get stuck in my cabinet, but I have it running when I'm usually home for lunch and can save it. It works on hard surfaces and carpets. Mine does not map the room that I'm aware of. It does not have a forward sensor at all. Just bumps into things and senses that way. That's all. Yoga. I'm an old guy and discovered it at age 56 in 2005. By now I'm still not terribly proficient, but yoga has kept me limber. More importantly, it has been amazing for improving my peace of mind. Whenever somebody asks why I practice yoga, I reply, for peace of mind. Breathing exercises. Focusing on really deep exhales. After about 10 minutes my whole outlook for the day changes. LASIK. Best $4,000 I ever spent on myself. Committing myself to a mental hospital and subsequent treatment. Working remotely. Spending money on gas, parking, clothes, etc. Just not worth it for most of my pre-remote working life. I cut my mother out of my life a few years ago, and I wish I had done it as soon as I moved out, just as I did to my father. My life has been so much better since she hasn't been in it. I feel better about myself. I'm not being treated badly, and I can do what I want without fearing judgment. I'm glad I never reconciled, either. From what I hear from siblings, she hasn't changed a bit. She still has to be right all the time. She still lies about it, and she still pulls authoritarian bullet. I've pretty much written her off. She has 7 years left to come to me, apologize for the nasty shit she did, take responsibility for aforementioned actions, and prove she has changed or is in the process. But if she doesn't do that within the next 7 years, there's no way in hell I'd reconcile with her. Getting my finances in order. It's life on easy mode now. Sobered up. 2 years. I lost 100 pounds. I have about 100 more to go. But being so obese you can't find clothes at Walmart and nearly dying from non-essential organ failure at 25. Gallbladder really isn't a way to live. I literally couldn't run or get off the floor without grabbing something. I used to break or bend lawn chairs. Not fun. Embarrassing AF. Selling my house. Don't get me wrong. Home ownership is great at times. But I was drowning in debt, and selling the place allowed me to reset my entire life. A huge weight was lifted from my shoulders overnight. Also, no more mowing the lawn. Going to the gym. Used to be a miserable fat bastard, but after 3 months of going to the gym, I've lost about a stone and feel so much better. Starting antidepressants. I literally am a different person than I used to be. In a good way. I feel more confident in myself. More caring about other people while still having very defined boundaries. Life changing. Fixing my relationship with food. Portion sizes. Decimating junk food intake back where it should be. A rare treat. Increasing veggie intake. Limiting red meat. Limiting dairy. Limiting refined sugars. I haven't actually stopped anything 100% cold turkey, chocolate, crisps, candy, takeout etc. Cold turkey, in that I don't scorn myself for buckling and having some, but I've just wound it back completely. It's been a major contributor of why I'm minus 20 kg than I was in January 2021. Stop working more than 40 hours a week. More of a woman thing. Using cups instead of tampons and pads. That was life changing. I no longer feel absolutely gross down there for 7 days out of every month. Or have to deal with dry tampons. A cat, I think. Question mark. I mean, he's an asshole. But, well, look at my profile pic. He was and is still so cute. Can't be mad at him and he enriches the evenings. Edit. I should have of course added a few pics from the beginning. Added a few memes too. Also you may notice he indeed likes to lay on his back. A lot. But no belly rubs. Going on meds that actually work. Edit. Since people really want me to be specific for some reason, I'm taking a blend of psychotropic medications to manage my depression, anxiety, and ADHD. I have no need to name them. And besides, what works for me might not work for another person, so I can't recommend medications. Please do not ask me to name things. Yoga. Getting my ADHD treated. Zinc and magnesium supplements. SLS free toothpaste so I don't get mouth ulcers anymore. Treat your own neck and treat your own back books that fixed my chronic neck and back problems. Edit. Many people have asked me about the neck and back books, so here's a links. Edit number 2. This is a good resource for adult self-screening. If you want to seek treatment for ADHD, get a recommendation from someone who's being successfully treated by a doctor who's good at it. IMHO, a good ADHD doctor will do blood tests to check a bunch of things. Zinc, magnesium, iron, Vit D, K and B groups for starters, before prescribing medications. Setting my own boundaries after realizing that when I didn't, people set them for me. Adopting a kitty Elisa. Standing up for myself and the values I have. Finally developed the ovaries to tell my ex to get out. He was verbally and emotionally abusive to me and my kids. Had me believing I was a useless piece of crap for a human being and incapable of existing without him. Good riddance. Electric toothbrush. Much easier and cleans 100x better. I have no problem brushing for the recommended 2 minutes because my hand arm don't get tired from having to manually brush. Getting a good mattress makes a world of a difference. Leaving Mormonism. This is a change I made only a few months ago, but it's been major. I struggle with clinical depression and extreme executive dysfunction. Two conditions that exacerbate each other and have taken a lot of time out of my life the past 20 years. I've been doing better but still experience long periods of time when I'm barely functioning, and it's a miracle if I can even make it out of the house, let alone do anything productive. My therapist is a big advocate of being kind to oneself, and in theory that's the mentality we all should have. There's no reason to punish ourselves when we're already struggling. But for me, the idea that I should be kind to myself is far too easy to corrupt. As in, I'm not going to clean my kitchen because I'm tired, and the kind thing is to let myself sleep for 15 hours or watch Netflix. It's really not kind to let myself do that, and it only makes me feel much worse, both physically and mentally. But it's way too easy to fall into that trap and make it a habit. But on the same token, constantly valuing productivity over rest is the other nasty end of that spectrum. I burn myself out being overly productive, and then have no time for creative pursuits or fun things or resting, and then I inevitably crash and end up right back in the pit of depression where I started it. It's simply not sustainable. Finally, my therapist came up with a narrower concept to follow. Is what you're doing right now the restorative thing? Somehow this was the key for me. Every day, I ask myself if I'm doing something restorative, and if I'm not, I go do something that is. Most of the time, it's something productive or creative. And when it's not, I'm doing something fun or restful. There are times when lying in bed watching Netflix is the restorative thing, but usually I find the answer is somewhere else, and I'm much happier and more functional for it. Money. And I really don't mean to be a smartass. The difference between a life with no financial stress versus a life with financial stress is breathtaking. Seeing both poverty and financial success has made me realize just how unfair life is for those with little money. The system really has to change. The single life. Nobody telling you what you should and shouldn't do, say, think and be. Taking singing lessons. I've played music my whole life, but never learned to sing. It's opened up a whole new world of creativity for me, and I wish I would have done it sooner. I quit drinking, and as sobriety came, I basically looked myself in the eyes and said, you're allowed to be happy. I am literally living a different life now. Not eating after 7 PM. No more heartburn at night, and I feel a lot fresher in the morning. Stopped watching the news. Life's way better without it. Thyroid treatment. I spent my teen years with a self-esteem because I was too skinny. Turns out I had undiagnosed hypothyroidism. Wish it was more known. I can only imagine how many people struggle with their self-image because they have some endocrine condition that's asymptomatic. Me starting to not give a duck. Deleting all social media. I don't care about other people's lives or what they look like or a cutesy posed for a picture. Finally going to a party and getting the word that a girl there likes me. Feeling wanted after years of loneliness feels amazing. Wish me luck for the next step, guys. Edit. Just got in contact with her again and we're going on our first date soon.